Good evening. Just to wrap up of the City Council meeting for the City of Grand Rapids for July 25th, 2016. Work session this afternoon was a continuation of a project and some work that had started way back in April as we were looking at solar energy farms in the City of Grand Rapids and how it can be supportive of our Public Utilities Commission and the Public Utilities Department. There's a group out there that's been working diligently since then, and they have a plan in place that over the next 4 months you're going to probably be seeing, if you're a resident of the PUC area, you're going to be getting some requests to fill out a survey on your support and ways that we could have a solar garden that supports Grand Rapids and helps the environment going forward. So look for those to be coming out in the next month or two, and then we will get that information and we'll find out just exactly what the costs are and how supportive the residents are of moving this project forward in the efforts of meeting efficient energy requirements in Grand Rapids. At the regular council meeting, a little bit about a couple of public hearings. We've got one coming up August 8th, looking at how do we continue to fund and do the bonding and stuff for some road projects. And then we also have another one looking at a resolution calling for one to consider the consent of Trunk Highway 2 at County State Aid Highway 62. So that piece of road between Cohasset and Grand Rapids that's been less than as safe as we would like to see it. There's been some discussion about changing the traffic flows over there, similar to what we did on Highway 2 as you're heading out to Duluth. Remember back a couple of years ago where Highway 2 going to Duluth was 2 lanes and Highway 2 coming into Grand Rapids was 2 lanes. And we changed it so that coming into Grand Rapids was 2 lanes, going to Duluth out of Grand Rapids was 1 lane with a turning lane to help alleviate some potential for rear endings and stuff and we've found that that's worked very well. We're looking at doing something similar on the entrance from the west between Cohasset and Grand Rapids. So there's a group out there that's studying that. We will be gathering information. At some point in time there will be a decision made not only at the state level but because of the input from residents in the area whether or not this is a good thing in order to do that. With that, we talked a little bit about the pavilion at the arena, looking at the funding and stuff that's going to be needed there. I think Graha is aggressively looking at a schedule of how to raise those funds to get that pavilion up and running yet this fall and winter. It sounds as though the rink and stuff would be fully implemented. We would not have the covering over that based on steel requirements that would be needed on the lag time in the ordering of about 8 to 10 weeks, that the steel and the pavilion roof would not be in place until probably the spring of 2017. Rob Matei on our community development side was in and talked a little bit about the minor subdivisions considered for the Hartley addition to Grand Rapids. The Hartley addition, that minor subdivision that we're talking about, if you don't know where that is, it's the Kmart property. They're looking at 2 outlots on Highway 169, the creation of 2 lots, where one would be Thrifty White and the other one is a proposed another business that would be going in there. Can't exactly tell you what that is at this point in time because there has not been a building permit, but we expect a building permit shortly. Rob did say that he was authorized by the Hartley Trust that they could talk a little bit about the old Kmart building, and one of the things they're looking at doing there is applying for some funds and looking at demoing that whole existing building so that it is more marketable to a future business out there on a 9.8 acre parcel of land when it's brownfielded. So it doesn't preclude it from having one business come in there, but it also could be subdivided additionally as we did tonight with the outlots along 169. So more to come on that, but if you're looking to see additional building and stuff up in that area, you see the Aldi's building going up and you see the Hardee's building across the street going up. Look for in the next month or two some building on the west side of 169 across from those two, and not only some building, but some demoing of some of that Kmart property. So we'll continue to work with different developers as they come in and look at trying to improve the marketability of lands in the Grand Rapids area. And we thank those that are coming in looking at putting a business onto some of these. We authorized the police department to sell forfeited weapons as they collect them over the period of months or years. Periodically, they go to a registered, federally licensed dealer to dispose of these weapons, and then that money in turn goes into a police forfeiture fund. And the goal there then is, as that fund goes up, we use them monies to offset some of the costs in the police department. So maybe it goes towards buying safety vests for the police department. Maybe it goes towards offsetting some of the costs of new radios or computers. Maybe it goes to the upgrade of firearms that the police use. At any number of initiatives, it can be used to offset some of those costs. So it's one way that we can help hold the costs down. As we get these confiscated weapons in, they can be resold, and those funds are used for the better good of the Grand Rapids community. With that, we paid the bills, and we look forward to seeing everyone again in 2 weeks. Hopefully the summer is going well for you. Enjoy yourself, and please take time as some of the streets are under some construction. Oh, we did authorize quite a bit of additional paving projects, probably I think 7 small strips of projects. Jeff Davies talked about some streets that are not in our CIP but are in terrible shape that need to have Band-Aids basically put on them. They will do some overlaying in some of these streets in northeast, northwest, and southeast Grand Rapids. So look for some construction and some repair work on those roads out there over the next few weeks of the summer as we are in the paving and seal cracking. If you have driven down 7th Avenue, you've seen that all those big long strip cracks that were in 7th Avenue have been taken care of. I think they did an excellent job. The Public Works Department had a company that came in and is trying a new, I think Jeff Davies said there was 115,000 pounds of material put into those cracks. I drove over it today to see what it was like, and I was very impressed with the work, and hopefully this will hold up, because as much traffic as there is on 7th Avenue, the Airport Road one, that is not in our CIP to be mill and lay and overlaid for another 4 or 5 years. So if we can get this Band-Aid on 7th to hold up for that period of time, it's something that allows us to continue to work on streets in Grand Rapids, knowing that our fundings are only such that you can do basically a certain amount, about $3 million worth of projects over the course of a year. So you've got to keep trying to figure out the creative ways that you can to make sure that these projects are taken care of. So once again, have a good evening, and we will see you in 2 weeks.